Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Jeff Dover. With me is John Barbin. Let's talk football.
Yeah, we're talking NCAA locks of the year of the week for week 10. And I guess we'll start with a review of how we did in week 9.
Sure. So if you were with us last week, then you are really happy because we went 5-2. Could have been 6-2 if I remembered all the picks that I made beforehand. But 5-2 betting, we'll take that any day. So the wins were Boise State, UNLV. Boise State just winning outright on this one. That was a little bit of a sweat because they were favored by 3.5 and they won by like 5 or something. BYU Central Florida, BYU plus 2.5. They just won outright on that one. Never understood why they weren't favored at UCF.
Yeah, me neither.
Florida State, Miami, you made us nervous by taking Miami with plus 21 points. And I think they won by 22. So that was an excellent call on your part.
That was a sweaty one.
That was a sweaty one.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan State, Michigan over 39.5. That one was in the 40s, low 40s, I think.
41. So crushed that one by 1.5.
Still fine.
Mm-hmm.
The 39 is just such a low total for Texas Vandy plus 18.5. This was almost an outright Vandy win, but at least
3
one
points,
score.
4-point game. Yeah.
So that was no problem. The losses were Illinois. We had plus 22.5. Oregon killed them, but now is again, and we just got at least like one garbage time score. That would have been nice, but the Oregon really just handled them that time. And then the one we're really off on is SMU and Duke. We had SMU minus 12.5, and so that was that had nothing to do with it.
Duke was much more solid than I expected in that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but 5-2, great start to our locks of the week of the century,
of the year, all of them, century, week, and year. All right. So, shall I get started?
Please.
Okay. So, Ohio State, Penn State.
Oh, I got to play on this game too.
Okay. So this all depends on if Drew Aller is starting or not. But even if he is, I still want to take the under.
Ooh, okay.
47.5.
You're seeing the real rock fight of a game, are you?
Well, this is how Penn State, I think, is the only way they're going to beat Ohio State is to slow the game right down. It's partly because I think that's how he wants to coach that game. I just don't think whether or not Aller's healthy and they pull out all kinds of stuff that they haven't shown all year long with that new offensive coordinator, I can't see it being a track meet here. Now, 47.5 is kind of low, but I can see it. The last number of years, these teams play that kind of game.
Yeah, like
Penn State
2017.
Penn State just drags them down and just makes it an ugly game. So I think that, and we've seen a few teams now do that to Ohio State, like Nebraska. It's not like Penn State ran away with that, or Ohio State ran away with that game. So I think it's possible for Penn State to actually just dictate this game into a slower paced, low scoring game.
Fantastic. So I got my play in this game is Penn State plus the 4.5 for a lot of things you just said.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it could be a field goal game. Ohio State coming into the season was supposed to have such a dominant roster, and they are absolutely not putting teams away. Like, they're not blowing them out. It's a lot closer than they should be. I don't think they're as dynamic as they on offense or defense, to be honest. So I think at Penn State, I think this is Penn State has had this game circled for a while. They're playing really well. So Ohio State hasn't done anything here to make me think that they're favored more than a field goal. So I'm going to take Penn State plus the 4.5 because I for all the things you said, I think this could be 2017, and a bit of a rock fight. So that's I'll take the 4.5 points.
All right. Next, I got Texas Tech at Iowa State. Okay, so this line seems wrong to me.
Okay, what do you got?
Texas Tech plus 14.5.
Yep. So it's Iowa State minus 14.5. Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand that. Iowa State's not in the business of blowing teams out.
Okay.
That's just not what's going on. Now, Texas Tech's starting QB is probably not going to play, but the backup he looked great last week against TCU. They lost the game, but they scored over 30 points and the backup looked good. And the only reason they lost that game was just a critical fumble. So I think this must be something to do with the fact that the starter's not in, but the backup didn't look bad. So, and if you've watched any of Iowa State, just don't see them blowing teams out. So
you're picking the team that's against the one you're wearing the t-shirt for.
Well, I think Iowa State's going to win the game,
Okay,
but I
just
think
not
Texas
by
Tech's going to
2.
cover 14.5.
Gotcha. How
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
feel about the over/under being relatively large at 56.5? Would you lean toward the under on that one?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Both of these,
Yeah.
like I could see it being like a 33-30 game or something
Yeah.
like that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. No, but I think Iowa State will win. I just think Texas Tech's going to cover that. That
Very
just
good.
seems oddly large to me. Must have something to do with the
Yeah, it
backup.
probably is.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But
Yeah.
that's a really good take about the backup,
Yeah.
being good too.
He looked good. He looked good.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
All right. So I've got a similar time window. Indiana at Michigan State. I think I'm riding the Indiana wagon. I think they're fantastic. I don't know if Michigan State has done anything to make me think that they're not, a really good team. They still it's the last I had it was Indiana -7. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
see
they can.
that.
I think they can win by 7. So I'm going to take Indiana at Michigan State -7.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing. I would have if Rourke was in that would.
I know.
I don't care what the number is. I would have taken the over, but Indiana -7. That was one of the ones on my list.
Relatively the normal over under at 50.5, which is a little low for this type of game because this could get squirrely quickly. But but yeah, that's I'm with you on that one.
I would tend to think the under there. With Indiana's backup QB and the way Michigan State's
not scoring a lot of points.
No, they're not going to score a lot of points.
No.
All right. So next I got Duke at Miami under 54.5. I see Miami beating them, but I don't see it being. I just don't see how Duke's going to score enough points for that number to get above that number. I could see this being, I don't know, like 35-14 or something, but I just don't see. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it getting that high.
No, and we're getting to the point of the season too where if Miami's up 30-3 or something like that, that's when you start pulling people. Like in Cam Ward, like he's not going to play the whole fourth quarter and things like that. Like that.
But now you're talking about a Duke backdoor cover.
No, but I just don't think that they're. Miami was not running the score up on Florida State, but like was definitely into that. But I think that part is over now.
Oh, I
think
see what you
they're
mean.
up by a lot, they're going to call off the dogs and mid Cam Ward. But so I'm not thinking it's a Duke, but they're just not going to score 50 themselves. So that's I think that's that's a good call. I like that one.
All right, what do you got?
All right, so the next one, this is another one of those like I'm not really sure why the line is like this, but it's Texas A&M at South Carolina. Texas A&M favored 2.5 points. I feel like it should be more than that. South Carolina is good. Okay, they've got a good defense. They've given a lot of teams trouble. They should have beat some other teams on their schedule they lost like Alabama, but they beat Oklahoma. I don't know, but I just think that Texas A&M coming off that win was a real statement win. I think they're one of the best teams the SEC, and South Carolina absolutely is not. So I think that I'm gonna take the 2.5. Texas A&M -2.5 at South Carolina.
Yeah. South Carolina's front seven's awesome, but they're not. They can't score.
No, and I think that, and I'm kind of good with. I would be surprised if Reed doesn't start, but for sure he's getting in the game, and so I think having the. Even if Wegman is there and you've got sort of the pass option with him and the run option with Reed, I think that's going to be a problem. So,
or if anything, he's going to have a short leash on Wegman.
Yes,
there's no way he's going to wait till the fourth quarter and then I think get him out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that one.
All right, I might keep riding this train. Vanderbilt at Auburn, Vandy +6.5.
That was on my thing too.
It's not a lot, but man, Vandy keeps all of these teams close, if not beats them.
Yeah.
And after Texas, we would have covered at +6.5 against Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is way better than Auburn. So I think I'll take Vandy plus the points and just see if they can keep this going.
Like 4 of the last 5 teams they played was like Bama, Kentucky, Texas, and Missouri, right? Like those are really good teams. So like in another way, like Auburn is one of the worst teams they've played in the last month. You know,
And
like
what
it's
6.5 would have covered all of those, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
some yeah,
It's,
give or take.
I mean,
But it's in the ballpark. But it's
yeah.
like, but yeah, like, but that's yeah, that's surprising. That's a great call. That's a ride the wagon while it's still
Hmm.
going. So
I got them
I
on the
like it.
wall somewhere up there.
Yeah, you do. All right. This next one, this is why I feel really good about this one. Not that I feel bad about the other ones, but this one I'm licking my lips that this one is the Oregon at Michigan, one of
Hmm.
the games of the week. This was supposed to be really big at the beginning of the season. It's not now since Michigan is struggling so much, but it's Oregon minus 14 and a half. I'm not really a big fan of the line, but I love the total. It over 44 and a half. I think Oregon can get this themselves. Michigan's defense is good, but Oregon is a machine right now. And I think they're going to win. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I don't think Michigan can keep up with them. And this also gives me an option for like a Michigan backdoor cover late. If, it's Oregon's only up by like 30 or something and Michigan get a late touchdown or something like that. So I think 44 and a half is way too low for this one.
I'm going to lay the points with Oregon
Ooh,
there.
are you? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can just see it being the same as what they just did to Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a step up in talent that Michigan hasn't faced yet.
Yeah.
And we're talking about whoever Michigan has at quarterback is incompetent. It's just not going to go well especially against Oregon. All right. So I piggybacked you on that one. I'll move on to Louisville at Clemson. I'm going to take Louisville plus 11 and a half. Is that what you got?
I'll tell you in a second. Keep talking.
I don't understand that line. Clemson's shaky. I know they've been putting up a lot of points, but these aren't great teams they're playing against. And Louisville can score.
Yeah, Clemson minus 11 is what I got.
All right. I'll do that too.
So Louisville plus 11, that's what you're taking?
Well, I have 11 and a half, but I'll take plus 11.
Okay. Yeah.
But Louisville can score in bunches. So and Clemson's just sort of, I don't know, I just don't trust them here. This just seems like that sort of, now I think Clemson's going to win. I just don't think they're covering 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the over 11 and a half, but I'll still take 11.
Yeah, 11's not a key number. So 11 and a half, I don't think really makes a difference.
No.
It was
I wouldn't take it at 9.5.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. There was the total's crazy high. It's 61 and a half too. So it sort of speaks to
they're just telling you that Louisville's going to score.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't think Clemson's running away with this one.
No, no, that's a good one. I think that's all that I had. Do you have any more?
Okay, I'm going to go there.
Okay.
Florida, Georgia.
Oh, this was on the cutting room floor for me. What are you going with?
I'm going to go under 52.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to do it. Okay.
I don't think Georgia needs to run the score up if they win, which I'm pretty sure Georgia's going to win.
Yeah.
But I think Florida's got enough pieces, and they've actually been turning it around a little bit and probably have some amount of confidence now.
Yeah.
That now Lagway's very inexperienced, but I think I think they can just keep this close.
Yep.
And keep it like a low scoring game and try to slow the game down. I don't think I think Florida's coach knows that he can't win a track meet against Georgia. That's not going to happen. No. Georgia's defense is going to keep Florida to a very low point total, but I think Florida can at least hold Georgia back a little bit. Almost, I mean, there's a blueprint for how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kentucky's already done it. For stretches of that Texas game, Georgia didn't look good either. So I could see Georgia sort of sputtering a little bit, trying to find their way. Mm-hmm. And out of those 52 points, even if 90% of them are Georgia, I still think we're going to end up under 52 here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's along the same lines. I was leaning toward Florida with the points, like plus 16 and a half, because for the same reason, I think Georgia could win by 2 touchdowns easily, but I think they're not necessarily going to run it up. I think it's also, we're getting the time of the season where we're going to pull some guys and things like that.
I could also see this being like 35-3 for Georgia, like something like that, where Florida just does nothing and Georgia just sits on them the whole game.
Yeah, that's possible.
And don't put the ball in harm's way if you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like we've had multiple games here where Carson Beck has a bad half or a bad quarter and some bad picks.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, if they're handling Florida, don't even bother throwing it. Just grind them into dust. So as Florida alum, I just can see Georgia just sitting on them the whole game long. Just the boa constrictor.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
play, keep
and
away.
Georgia can do
Yeah.
a great boa constrictor.
Yeah, yeah.
Run
And
the ball, not give anything up on defense, like
yeah,
slow, methodical passing.
and with a first time starting quarterback, Lagway, who wasn't planning on that, right? He got thrown in there because Mertz got hurt, and now he's all of a sudden learning on the fly, so to speak, as the starter. What do you think he's going to do against Georgia's defense?
Yeah,
it's going to be. I mean,
the best thing he's seen in a while. Ever.
Oh yeah. So I think the under's kind of almost obvious here. I mean, famous last words for betting, but I just don't. Unless they think Georgia's going to put up 55 points by themselves.
No. I think that's a great call. I think both teams' plan would be to try to run the ball as much as they can, and Georgia it would be an excellent boa constrictor team. And Florida just doesn't have the dynamic offense. They've got a good defense, but they don't have a dynamic offense. And
well, if Florida wins, it's not going to be what they did to Kentucky.
No.
But
you're right. It's going to be low scoring. I think that's.
I just don't see any scenario on if Georgia wins, it's either going to be 40-10 or I don't know, 35-3, something like that. And if Florida wins, it's going to be a miraculous
20-17.
20-17, where they drag Georgia down into a Kentucky style rock fight. But I just don't see any case where it's like 38-41 or something like that.
No. That's a good call.
There you go. All right. Well, that's all we got for that's all you got?
Yep.
So that's college week 10 locks of the year of the week. Check back in with us afterwards as we are collecting our winnings, and hopefully you guys cash in as well.
Started out 5-2 last week.
5-2 and should have been 6-2, but Dover couldn't be bothered to place the last bet.
The
so
one
we
that
should be 6-2 right
tape, now. I said I called Nebraska plus the points, but
it was right. It's on there. It's on there. It's all documented.
So you're winning if you're betting with us.
That's right.
For now.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week.